Today in the crypto space, we see the market showing a bit of weakness. Bitcoin down approximately 1%, right around the 84,000. Ethereum right around that $1,600 mark, down approximately 2%. And the rest of the crypto space, the altcoins, some of them are taking dips at the current moment. HBAR, Near Protocol, Phantom, Sonic, of course, ENA, and many others. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one project, one altcoin that's looking pretty good, maybe looking for that reversal, and that project is called AVAX. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins. Looking for opportunity, whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 8 PM EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with the general market. First, market cap is going sideways. No major sell-offs, no major sell-offs across the market is healthy for the total. That's what we basically want to see, is the total market cap hold steady. There's not much trading volume. Today was a very, very stagnant day for trading. We see Mantra up 53%. Guys, be very, very careful with Mantra. At this current moment, any pumps could be exit pumps. Okay, so just understand that that's very, very dangerous at the current moment. A lot of the FUD is still circulating. A lot of the uncertainty is still there, so be very careful with any positions that you may have there on OM. And if we continue going through the rest of the market, obviously we're going to scrape through the top 100 first, then we'll take a look at Bitcoin, and then we'll talk about AVAX. But if you look at the top 100, guys, today was pretty boring. 24-hour change, pretty much the percentage, pretty much 3% to the downside, 4%, 3% to the upside, and not really much happening. As you look at the fractals here on the 1 hour time frame, yeah, it looks a little bit like it's going to roll over. I'll be honest, short-term dip is potentially around the corner here. This is the thing here, as you can see, Hyperliquid and many others, Polkadot is exaggerating that rollover at the current moment. As you can see, we got Bitcoin Cash, we got Sui rolling over, and a lot of little fractals here suggesting a bit of a rollover. Just keep in mind that these little dips could be opportunities to buy, and of course expect the market to just essentially spring off of these dips. Just understand that where Bitcoin is at the current moment, it is crucial. If Bitcoin bounces off these levels, guys, we're going to get a lot of FOMO in the market, and obviously a lot of green candles. So just be slow and steady. I am slowly increasing my risk to the market. Essentially, what I'm saying here is I'm getting into margin positions, low leverage positions that are bigger bags, but ultimately no liquidation for me. I don't want to get liquidated, so low leverage. And I'm building these positions over time and accumulating these positions over time, because ultimately what I want to see is Bitcoin finally move. And I'm anticipating that something's going to happen very, very soon. I'm not talking about all-time highs in price discovery, but at least a bit of relief in the immediate short term so that we can capitalize on that volatility, but to the upside. But in the short term, guys, we're getting a few dips. As you can see, Aptos coming down. We have Ondo potentially looking for a little bit of a rollover. Near Protocol has been rolling over, so it's looking pretty good. If you're looking to accumulate, look for structural support on those lower time frames, guys. And as you can see, a lot of the market is doing that right now. Even VeChain, I like the way VeChain has been behaving the last little while. Same with Kaspa, a nice little bounce from Kaspa, and maybe a backtest confirmation, a higher low. The same with BitTensor Tau. These are projects that I'm definitely looking forward to see a nice bullish response. But on the shorter time frames, guys, right now in the 1 hour, we're seeing a bit of a reversal. Okay, we're seeing a bit of a dip. So, guys, be patient. Make sure that you have a plan set in place that is considering the longer, broader perspective, and obviously the zoomed in perspective, because the shorter time frames can show a lot of volatility, but then the larger time frames, when they finally kick in, when you start to see that reversal or that trend to the upside, it's going to be a little bit late to make critical decisions. Now's the time to kind of have a plan set in place where you're going to be taking risk. Okay, so guys, so just make sure that you join me live tonight at 8 p.m. EST. We'll talk about all these things, these ideas, and definitely come up with a plan to stay one step ahead of the market. All right, guys, let's take a look at charts. I know you're here to talk about price action, so let's begin. Let's take a look at Bitcoin just as a leading indicator. We'll take a look at AVAX in a second. However, Bitcoin at the current moment is going to tell us exactly what we should see throughout the market, given that it is a large cap. I use it as a leading indicator. The market generally follows Bitcoin. So let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. As you can see, Bitcoin's current scenario is so critical. And the reason being is if we can get a bit of a bounce here after a quick, exchange of hands and continue to the upside, it's very likely that we start to see a short squeeze to about 88,000, maybe a little bit higher. Once that happens, guys, we're going to see pretty much bull on price action. And from there on, it's going to be very hard to jump on the bandwagon, right? We really want to get on the train before it starts to leave. And obviously resistance starts to pick up right into this level, which is at about 95,000. It could even begin a little bit earlier, right around 92. But really, if we start expanding, I'm expecting, the point of control to be a magnet, a level of which we could see the price get to. And of course, front running that level is very, very important to, keep in mind. 94,000, 95,000. That's where I would like to see, the Bitcoin price. Now, the question is, if Bitcoin does this, what do you think the altcoins are going to do, guys? They're going to fly too, right? They're going to, play that catch-up game. And of course, at that point, you can consider de-risking and so on and so forth. But a lot of us are going to start questioning is what happens to the Bitcoin price after it reaches here. Maybe we do dip, maybe we consolidate, maybe, something happens here. Whatever happens, we'll definitely be there trying to figure it out. And then from there, what about a continuation, guys? Is it possible? Is it possible that maybe we come down and they continue? This is all possible because really what we're looking for right here is the change of character. And if the market gives us that opportunity, even if we come down now and come down and get the higher low and then we break, guys, this is your last opportunity to potentially start accumulating here. And this is why I'm accumulating leverage positions. Low leverage margin positions is what I'm focusing on at the current moment, because if we hold this level on Bitcoin and we start reversing to the upside, whether it be this way or even as this way, either way we're looking for that change of character. Either way we're looking to change the trend. Either way, I want to have exposure to the market, and I want to have healthy exposure. Not too much, not high leverage positions unless I'm getting on lower time frames. But if I'm going to be trading the 4-hour or the daily for a nice swing trade to the upside, I want to be building my position slow and steadily with low leverage. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be doing in the next little while, guys. I'll keep you guys filled in on the live streams, of course. But again, low risk opportunities. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Bitcoin is still making a lower high, but it could be potentially building its change of character. And I did mention that right now we have to watch out for the bearish response. This is the opportunity, guys. If the bearish response comes in and makes a higher low, guys, I'm all in. Guys, I'm all in. I'm starting to deploy capital. I'm starting to deploy more on those margin positions. And obviously, invalidation is here because I don't know exactly where the bottom is going to be, but this is a shot worth taking if we make that higher low. And then we go up for that next higher high. I'll be getting into higher leverage trades on the breakout for a nice move to the upside, and again de-risking right around 95. That's what I would be doing for that potential swing to the upside, trying to keep these margin positions open as long as possible without taking too much risk, because ultimately if we start breaking out here, maybe a little bit of opium here, we get into all-time highs and price discovery, I want to make sure that I have these margin positions still open, because ultimately that could be very critical for my portfolio. Okay, so I'm keeping that all in mind. EMAs right now are still facing up, green histogram bars, Bitcoin looking good, but in the meantime, expect a bit of a bearish response and see what happens. It could be a small one. We're hoping that it is, but if it's not, you have to ask yourself, are you prepared, and what are you going to do about it? All right, guys, so let's move on. Let's take a look at AVAX, because AVAX ultimately right now, a lot of people are not really that focused on it. It has its, its community, no doubt. There are people, including myself, that are bullish, but it's not like it's buzzing that hard, which means that it could be a calm before the storm scenario. Now, I just want to quickly zoom out and just get rid of oscillators for a second and put this in perspective, because sometimes we forget to zoom out. We forget to actually look at the big picture. The reality is that this zone right here, $8.50, not only is it still possible, not only is it still on the table to come down to that level, but we're fairly close enough, because that's the ultimate invalidation of this entire structure, this entire chart. If it breaks below there, guys, AVAX is starting to really suffer. And of course, some might argue, you know what, we're probably going to come down there, sweep the lows, get back above, and backtest in spring, which I'll be, obviously hurt by this, coming down to that level, but I'll be taking full advantage of that opportunity, as I did here, because again, these scenarios are meant to be bought. As you can see, buying here, selling here, very clear scenario. Now, I am looking for a potential reversal. Bitcoin continues showing that reversal structure and that potential run to the upside, even for a bit of relief. I'm expecting AVAX to print the same opportunity. The only difference is that it's a lower cap, and we'll be able to print a lot more gains on the reversal. What do I mean by that? Even if we get a bit of relief to see AVAX even come up to here, maybe that's a 786, that's 100%. I can double my money very, very quickly here with AVAX, right? And if I get into a margin position with 2x, 3x, with very low probability of liquidation, I basically increase my position size by double or triple, which means I'm also increasing my gains capability, which is something that I want to, basically leverage on. I want to be able to take full advantage of that, especially if this gives us the confirmation of a reversal. Guys, by the way, if you're looking for an exchange that treats newcomers very well, by no KYC, number one, and obviously by giving you a great trading bonus so that you can trade for free without any risk, join BitNEX. I got links in the description below. They're offering a $50 trading bonus for those individuals that are starting their accounts with a $250 deposit. You get an extra $50 to trade the way you want to practice, to try out some of their features and so on, so that you can prepare when this market starts to go really, really bullish. At least you know how to use an exchange properly. Okay, so think about it like that. Now, as far as price action goes, what's the main thesis? Now, I'm going to tell you right now, things are a little bit hectic, and I know I'm on the daily time frame. I'm going to stay on the daily for a second here before we go on the 4 hour. As you can see, we're getting a bit of rejection here. It's not a good look. I'll be totally honest. Now, is it done? And what I mean here is that could we actually come down for a dip and then get back above and backtest in spring? Sure, why not? As long as we don't break below these lows. Guys, as long as we stay above those lows, and you can see that wick price action right here, very strong, or a decent amount of buy pressure, causing the price to impulse. Now, are these bottoms going to get defended? Are we going to come down here and make a low, a higher low, or something like that, and eventually get back above for the actual breakout? Because we need to break above this high to confirm a change of character. We break above that high, we break above the high, we make a confirmation low, higher low, we start moving to the upside, we start trending to the upside. Okay, this is so important, because a lot of us want to catch a bottom, but we take too much risk catching the bottom. The change of character will mitigate a lot of that risk, because in order to get a proper change of character, what you're waiting for is a ton of confirmation, and that's what you should be trading, a level of which there's confirmations to improve your thesis. Okay, so super important. The 4 hour, very similar thing, just expanding into this falling wedge. Okay, and then all of a sudden looking for that bottom right now, looking for that higher high or higher low, whatever we get first. And this scenario right here is quite interesting, because if we start looking at the oscillators, even on the 4 hour, right at this level, you can see that right now we're coming in for a bit of a bearish response, no doubt. So we have to be very patient, but volatility right now is bottomed out a little bit here. As you can see, it's in oversold conditions, the orange line oversold, which means that if we get a bullish response, we're going to get overbought again on the 4 hour. What I don't like is the trend oscillator at the current moment is facing down. Remember, this is the 4 hour, but we are in the bullish control zone. Every time we're in the bullish control zone, bearish responses are muddled. They're not as strong as if we were in the bearish control zone. What I want to really focus on is the daily, because the daily right now is critical. We can flip bullish so quickly on the 4 hour given the daily momentum. Now, the daily momentum is something that I've been tracking across the market. We've gotten oversold. You can see that the momentum is in an uptrend. The purple line is clearly in an uptrend. Okay, that's very clear. Price action is still falling. That's class A bullish divergence. These expansions, these impulsive moves, these expansions are getting weaker and weaker and weaker, to the point that the bears are weakening off here. And because of this bottom, which correlates with this little price, with this little expansion right here, and this bottom, which correlates with this bigger expansion, the reality is the bears are showing a bit of weakness here. Okay, unless they start expanding hard and invalidate by breaking down and making a lower low. That's the only way that we invalidate this bullish scenario, okay? And just keep in mind, we did not make a higher high or a higher low at the current moment. So we're relying on this double bottom to hold at the current moment. That's it. That's all we got. So we have to put this thesis into perspective. Although it looks pretty good, it's not a high probability trade. However, with a bit of margin, with a bit of leverage, a small amount of leverage, and understanding that you're building a position right in here, if you are a position trader, it's not bad of a scenario given that your invalidation is quite clear. Underneath these bottoms, if we break below, get out. Okay, that's the reality. Now, what I want to see is momentum get overbought to overbought conditions, which is above the 70 here on the oscillator, as you see here. And guys, if you want to know more about the oscillator, I got links in the description for you. It's a custom oscillator that has been doing really, really good for me and the rest of the community that has been using it in the last little while. So go check it out. Got lots of info there for you. So what I want to see this thing is get overbought after the bearish response. We want to make sure we do not make a lower low on the bearish response. And then on the bullish response, we want to go long if we do not make a lower low. We want to go long so we can basically trade the volatility in the same direction of the momentum, and that will give us the edge to trade the momentum, to trade the trend to the upside, especially that we can see that the trend oscillator currently is making multiple drives of class A bullish divergence. The EMAs are currently battling, trying to get into the bullish control zone, as can be seen, and we are looking for a few more green histogram bars here, and eventually getting out of the bearish scenario, and like we've done in the past, and then we get a bullish response. Okay, bearish response, bullish response, back and forth, bearish, bullish, bearish, bullish. I think it's due for a bullish response, guys, any day now. And as people are accumulating their bags and preparing their portfolios, there are opportunities to get shaken out. So what I say here is low risk obviously reduces your ability to get shaken out. Even if we do come down for a little bit more, guys, be prepared, because these falling type of scenarios eventually pick up and they start rolling to the upside. So just to give you a quick idea of visually what I'm looking for, again, is a change of character right into here, where we make a higher high above this one or a higher low that's not lower than this one. Either way, we start to build that change of character structure, similar to what was happening here. Beautiful scenario, beautiful rally up. And big picture, one last thing, guys, one last thing is what's interesting is you can see that AVAX did very well from here to here, all the way up, and then we're kind of like correcting in a three-wave structure down. You know, I feel like at any moment this level is an interesting one, and of course keeping my mind open for that 850 as well to DCA and reaccumulate at that level if this doesn't work out. Guys, trading is a game of probability. And this is a prime example of, you know, trading the uncertainty, but having a plan to keep you protected. That is super important, guys. Protecting your capital, your initial investment is your primary objective. And your role here is to also protect the gains, because you want to be a profitable trader. Guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor. Slap the like button. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord, guys. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.